What's the good air? Wow. What's
Wow.
the good word, everybody? I'm rusty. It's been a couple of weeks. Yo, man, when I be trying to record at night, I realize it's too late. I got to really find the time during the day when I'm not working. I might have to restart my intro like 4 or 5 times. I'm like, I'm just going to start recording my initial thing and call it so I can get to my content. But nonetheless, Jets Flight Squad back in the building. We appreciate y'all coming through. DKBxJets here. I got my boys with me. Italy Jet. You catch them on the Jets Evening Brew. A few other things. And I got my boy Gunny Gumby, New York Jets situation report. You'll catch him on Thursday. Thick of it, amongst some other things. Been a while since we last met. I think, what was it? The Dolphins game, maybe?
Yeah. Dolphins game.
Yeah.
Wild Waves.
We've been dealing with some technical difficulties amongst other things, you know what I'm saying, over the last couple of weeks.
Man, yeah, we got winter storms coming in for the boys, work schedules changing up and all that kind of craziness. But what do you guys take away? Well, we've kind of been on this for a minute, but I guess what would be some of your main takeaways for the how the Jets season has ended? Maybe the season overall.
You can go first.
Honestly, man, I think there's more questions than there are answers. I think when this season kind of came into play, we were all under the impression that we were literally just a quarterback away. But seeing how it all came to full circle, I don't know anymore if that's truly the case. I think the New York Jets need a lot of work this offseason, and I don't know if one offseason is going to be enough. That offensive line literally needs about 3 new bodies on it. We don't have a wide receiver 2, and I don't really think we have a wide receiver 3. I think after Garrett Wilson, it's just a bunch of hope, and we're hoping that Aaron Rodgers can elevate said hope. But I think we also need to be real with ourselves, and we're going to be getting a 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers coming back into the building. And after watching the Green Bay Packers just do what they did with the same roster, in essence, with Jordan Love at quarterback, I'm also starting to wonder maybe the decline of Aaron Rodgers is not fiction. Maybe that's just the reality of it. Mm-hmm. And can we expect Aaron Rodgers to go ahead and elevate this team when, I mean, honestly, it has so many holes. So, man, in all actuality, dog, like, I came into the season hopeful, but I'm leaving it with so many more questions and so much more concern. Especially after seeing what Jordan Love was able to do with that same Packers team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed. And I think for me is, we already know what kind of defense we have. We have proven that we are number one. Even specific players have grown and showed that we are the best in those certain positions. We've known that Zerline is good. We've known Morstead was good. That's not the issue. The issue is all on the offense, besides Conklin, Breece Hall, and Garrett Wilson. The questions are we going to learn from this? Are we ever going to make any changes? Is there going to be any new changes with cuts or trade? Are they really going to go out this year in 2024 and make all those changes that we want them to make? Probably not. I can't see it. They said this is an all-or-in year now. This is what's going to happen because we need to make the playoffs or everyone is probably going to be done. This is going to be done. This year has proven that we didn't get a backup quarterback. We didn't get an offensive lineman and a wide receiver at the trade deadline or even in the offseason. And there wasn't any changes with Hackett. It's proven that Keith Carter is public enemy number 1. It's I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's the same old Jets. Same old Jets.
Yeah. In general positivity fashion, I think we are a decent bit away from being an elite tier team. But the core of our team as a whole is still set in place. Number one, top trio cornerback in the NFL. So you feel good there. We're still going to have one of the deepest lines as long as Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas are at the helm on defense. And we have a trio of players you can operate an offense effectively with. as you mentioned, in Conklin, Brees, and Garrett, right? So between looking at the draft and looking at free agency, we're not going to be able to fill everything, right? Cap space is on the very low end.
Very bad.
We have the surprising moves or cuts from the rumors that are going to be coming up. And then you only have so many draft picks, even with the comp ones coming in. I think when I covered this in the offseason, we may end up with like 8 picks total, but you're still talking about mostly day 3 selections. So if we're going to have a successful 2024 season, I'm not necessarily worried about the offseason and winning and all that kind of stuff. I think you have to see Joe Douglas go back into his bag, right? We need some creative additions to this roster. I'm not sure what kind of trades he might be able to pull off, but he has some pieces to dangle. Bryce Huff, JFM, we could save a huge amount on the cap space if he's released.
Right.
Easily
Mosley?
positions. Yeah, well, I think we end up just extending. Mosley's going to be this weird contract where we extend him until he just says he's ready to retire. Like that's how that's going to end up going down.
And extend Reed.
I would look to extend MC2 first. As much as I love DJ.
Yeah. Honestly, I think in this situation, man, DJ Reed might be a great bargaining chip for a trade. And it's crazy to be saying this out loud, but in all actuality, what has having a top 5, top 10 defense really done for us in the last several years? If we're able to go ahead and bring in a offensive weapon, because we have an extra draft pick, or we can go ahead and flip him for an offensive lineman or a wide receiver, I think in all actuality, that value there in itself holds more weight. I think MC2 is a definitive must. You got to keep that man. Having a slot receiver of his caliber is next level. We've got cornerback 1 down packed, and it looks like they were looking to start allowing Sauce to kind of drift with the best wide receiver of the other team as of the last couple of games, but those guys were, of course, hurt. So I think with that being their mindset and actually being able to evolve their freaking game plan, then you can get a cornerback too that might not be as top tier as a DJ Reed, but the value he brings back in a trade, man, at first I was against it, but the more and more I look at how much this freaking team needs, we're going to have to sacrifice somewhere in order for us to fortify this offense. And DJ Reed is a marketable chip. He's got 1 year left on his contract. I could see that becoming a nice piece to a team that's ready to win now.
So you guys are saying JFM and Reed are trade targets. Sign Huff back, sign Mosley back, and give an extension to Carter too. Is this what I'm hearing?
I don't think Huff is going to be on this team either.
Huff is
okay.
He's an enigma, right? But I think the obvious answer is re-sign him. But then the question becomes, what does the contract look like, right? Because if he's in that Carl Lawson, John Franklin Myers territory, it's a bargain. Cool, I'm perfectly good with that. Somewhere between 13 and 17 million.
Right.
And you'd expect for his snaps to be bumped up next year to maybe he played 50% this year. If he goes up to 60, 65%, which is just for the Jets, it's about within starting territory because I think Jermaine Johnson led us with 71%. You feel good with that. He's on the field enough to make his new contract acceptable. But if he's in this 20 million plus range I keep hearing about,
no,
his ass needs to be tagged and trade.
He's got to,
If he's not going to play 80%,
I don't think
it just doesn't make sense.
Now, the only way you keep JFM is if we're willing to move him to the exterior. You got to figure we did that with Quincy, right? Quincy is more of a JFM type of player. We put him into the interior next to freaking Quinnen. I mean, again, I think he's got 2 years left on his contract. At this point, they're actually bargain deals in terms of what he has left on that contract. If we can't, get him to restructure or get at least a 4th rounder for him or something serviceable on the offensive line, I think you just slot him into the interior, man. He replaces what Quentin was doing, Quentin Johnson was doing for us on the defensive line next to Quentin Williams.
Quentin Jefferson.
I'm sorry, yeah, Quentin Jefferson, yeah. And then now you've got pretty much the same guy, but I think JFM's a little bit better in the run, and he can also get to the quarterback. Again, the defense in all actuality, I feel like is overloaded. It's an overloaded defense. I think we've got the components and the pieces on that side to literally kind of put the best roster we can on the offensive side, because honestly, I want every resource imaginable put towards this offense. We're talking about offensive line, a legitimate backup quarterback. We're talking about another wide receiver, maybe two. We're in a situation, man. Aaron Rodgers is only here for another year or two. And again, we have no idea what version of Aaron Rodgers we're getting. And the more we saw of the Packers this year, it's hard not to wonder, damn, maybe what we saw from him in his last year there is the new Rodgers, which is still a top 10 quarterback by all metrics and statistics. But can we expect him to still be top 10 coming into this season at his 40-year season after having torn his Achilles and having a quick repair done to it? We don't even know if the little bit of mobility he did have is going to be like, there's so many question marks about this whole freaking offseason right now. But the one thing I do know is I don't want to go into it believing that Aaron Rodgers can fix everything. I don't want to go into it believing like, you know what, right, Aaron Rodgers is back, we're fine on offense. No, I would like to give this man as much help as possible. And if it means we lose a DJ Reed, if it means we lose out on a Huff, a JFM, I'm cool with it. And TJ Mosley again had another underrated year. But that guy is still the heart and soul of the freaking defense, man. He's the IQ. It's like having a coach on the field. And the way Quincy flew all around the goddamn field this year and became a first-team All-Pro, it's okay to have a freaking tier 2 linebacker standing next to him in terms of physical ability, but he's cerebral as hell. So I'm okay with CJ. And I don't think he's going anywhere either. I think we restructured his contract already, so he's already going to be here next year, kind of guaranteed after that restructure. But yeah, man, I feel like if as Jets fans, if we're being honest, man, we're going to have to take some L's on the defensive side of the ball to maximize the potential of what the offense can be, because we need to put as many resources as possible towards the offense and help out Aaron Rodgers.
The people that want us to keep all of the pieces we have on defense, I don't blame them, but it's when I look at it, and I thought about it myself last night when I was trying to work on a new video, it's more of a trauma response, right? We've been so inefficient offensively that the only thing you have to hang your hat on is the defense, right? And so if there was nothing else, as much as we freaking hate Robert Saleh and Nathaniel Hackett and, you know, basically the coaching staff at large that we have when it comes to implementing an offense, the job they've done on defense is respectable. We've already seen what an offense that doesn't, a defense that doesn't have Sauce Gardner or DJ Reed out there looks like, playing with practice squad guys. We've seen a defense with a marginalized Jordan Whitehead. We've seen one with Tony Adams when he's coming off back-to-back injuries and still trying to actually play at a high level in his first year starting, even though we had high expectations for him based on what we saw during the preseason and, you know, OTAs and all of that. But if anybody can milk the talent out of anybody you bring in on defense, it's going to be this coaching staff. So I don't think if we went crazy, right? Let's say we did say JFM, DJ Reed, gone. Jordan Whitehead, I think, is obviously going to be out of here. So you're talking about 3 starters gone. I trust the coaching staff to find somebody, right? Michael Clemens could just as easily have a bounce back season next year on the edge without having to worry about getting beat up by guards. Will McDonald, obviously in his second year, we've heard Robert Saleh use the superstar terminology already. And the only reason I'm concerned about safety right now is because if Marquand Manuel leaves, I don't know who the replacement's going to be right now for him. And it's actually pretty hard to develop safeties to an acceptable level. But nonetheless, I think the goal this year needs to be not have an elite defense and an okay offense. Build the best team. This is the reason why we've seen the 49ers, the Eagles, even the Lions.
Exactly.
Been long enough. They have the best teams over the course of the regular season. So when certain injuries creep up, it wasn't a death blow to them or anything like that. So I do want to pour as many resources into the offense as possible. And I think the defense that we built allows us to do it. So it only makes sense.
So I want to add to that too, right? Like, I'm glad you brought those other teams because the number one defense in football just got eliminated in the wild card. The Cleveland Browns are not in the playoffs anymore. They're done, right? The number 3 defense in football, the Dallas Cowboys, eliminated from the freaking playoffs. They are no longer in the playoffs, right?
And they had the number 1 offense too, shockingly.
No, that was the Dolphins had the number 1 offense. The Cowboys had the number 2 offense. But let's be honest. But the Dolphins were they shouldn't have been the number one offense. They beat up on a lot of teams that just weren't good. And same with the Dallas Cowboys. So in essence, their offenses were kind of fraudulent because if you look at the teams they beat up on, the Pat stat, it didn't matter when they came up against good teams. So I know, like, especially as Jets fans, man, since the Rex era, we've prided ourselves on having elite defenses. Like that's our signature. That's what we know, right? It worked back then. Took us a couple of AFC Championship games. New NFL, y'all. Like, in all actuality, new NFL. If you don't got the offense down, it doesn't matter. You're not going to go ahead and go far. So I'm okay at this point. I've come to that harsh realization, like DK was just saying. As a Jets fan, maybe the mantra of, like, defense wins championships and, the defense is elite. Like, I think at this point, I'm just like, it hasn't done us it has done nothing for us the last several years. We just saw the number 1 and number 3 defense in the NFL just get bounced out. I don't know really if it matters as much as it once did. Now, I want to have a good defense. Don't get that twisted. I don't want it to be, just scoring nonstop, because at some point you're going to need to stop. But man, I really hope this entire offseason is purely focused on the offense. Oh, and bringing back Chuck Clark. I think Chuck Clark as a safety option as well. Resign Ashton Davis as well. I do kind of want to keep those two guys.
No, it's that 3: Tony Adams, Ashton Davis, and Chuck Clark. That would be great. I like that. I'm okay 100%. With that. For the first time ever, I'm actually okay with that, because I didn't like it last year. Now I'm like, okay, I like this is set for what we need elsewhere. But also, including the Rex Ryan days, Rex Ryan and Tandemon, they poured a lot of money into that offensive line. Lots of money. And that's what needs to come back. Like, that was, especially with the elite defense, they did. I mean, Faneca, Mangold, Ferguson, Woody, it goes on and on. That's what we kind of need to put in now.
That actually reminds me, speaking of the offensive line, because I've seen a lot of different takes, and we're starting to get some of the rumors creeping up about, the bargain bin agents we may be able to add in and stuff like that. But as far as the draft goes, we settled into 10. But did you guys have a locked-in player that you absolutely want to take if he's available at 10 so far, or do you have a hidden gem you've came up on?
I got 2 guys that I'm looking at. If it's at 10 and all of them are off the board, I will look Fuega, offensive lineman, and the kid from Washington, a wide receiver, Adunza.
Rome Adunza, yeah.
I really like them both a lot. I think they would fit the system pretty well. I think we can use them to their strengths as well. And just from what they've shown on the big stage, I really do like them a lot. Of course, I would want it all. Of course, I want Harrison Jr., but it's not going to happen, right? I just don't think it's going to happen. But if I had to choose alternates, those are my 2 guys I'm looking out for.
Yeah, so for me, the dream of MHJ and Joe Alt have obviously gone out the window. I know a lot of Jets fans are really hung on this Brock Bowers kid, man. I can't do it. The more I look at him, I think that he's looked great in college, but again, his size is not that appealing. He's going to be bigger than most safeties and faster than most linebackers, but I believe we've seen this before with freaking old boy that went to the Falcons. I'm having a brain fart right now, but elite athletic traits, elite size, and what did that do, right? So I'm not big on it, but at the end of the day, I'm not a professional. I'm going off of my eyes. Right now I'm seeing Fashanu drop a lot to our spot, and if he is there, run to the podium and take that man. He's no Joe Alt, but he is probably the guy with the highest ceiling, although I think Joe Alt has the highest floor. I think Fashanu, if he's there, has the highest ceiling. Not to mention it's Penn State, right? Those guys are dogs too, man. They're just known for here's your lunch pail, go to work type of freaking guys. So that's who I want, man. Alt was for me. It was MHJ. I would be okay trading up for MHJ. Is how much I think this kid is the can't miss home run prospect of this draft.
Generational talent.
100%. Like, and I hate using that phrase, but in all actuality, when it comes to it in this draft, he is the only one that is a generational talent. The kid is can't miss. I think he's going to hit the ground running, and we're going to sit there and be like, damn, God damn. I just hope he goes like in the top 3 so I don't feel like we had a chance at him for any reason whatsoever. But yeah, I think
that's the Bears. My gut's the Bears.
Yeah, I think it's going to go to the Bears. I think if the Bears are going to keep Justin Fields, that's the number one pick in this draft. They're going to bring in MHJ, give him two stud wide receivers at that point to go ahead and really evaluate him going into this year. But for me, it's Fashanu, man. That's the guy that I'm falling in love with. I after that, if I'm being honest, man, I don't see anybody else that can be an immediate impact. I guess this freaking Bowers kid, because again, it seems like I'm on a hill by myself where everyone else seems to love him, and maybe they're seeing what I can't see. But for me, I'm like, I've seen this story before. Pitts was supposed to be this next generational talent. He was a freak athletic in terms of size, speed, strength. He could run all the routes, and he's really been mid. So everybody would tell you, well, it's because of the team he went to. Well, that's what happens. Bad teams pick high, and then those players are supposed to elevate those teams. I haven't seen that. So for me, it's Fashanu, man. He's the guy. If he's not there, we got to trade back. If Fashanu ain't there, I'd rather us trade back and then go ahead and stockpile picks so we can throw as much on the wall towards the offense as possible.
Fair play. Yeah, so there's Olu Fashanu is a guy that I love. I just dropped my scouting breakdown on him. I think definitely the highest ceiling. I think his floor in terms of pass protection is higher than Joe Alt. Overall, though, he has some stuff to work on in the run game, but for how we would want to operate, trying to protect the golden arm of Aaron Rodgers, it's something I'd be willing to sacrifice. Fashanu would be the guy that, like, I pull a gun behind Joe Douglas's head. This is the pick.
Don't think about it. Don't think about it. Run that. Run that pick, bro.
Johnson, shut up. Salah, shut up. Run the card to the podium. Olu Fashanu is the guy that I'm definitely in love with right now. What's up?
I'm not quiet.
Okay, thank you. I don't think there's great value anywhere else. I think I'm dropping my Fuaga video tomorrow. I actually am pretty high on him. I just don't think he's worth the 10th necessarily. So if we could trade back to like 16 or something, I think that'd be the sweet spot. Not too high, not too low for him, but he's kind of the opposite of Fashanu, right? He's an absolute beast in a run game. Pass protection, he has some core fundamental skills, but the stats make him look much better than I think his film does, right? I think the highlight with Fuaga is 0 sacks across his 4 years that he's actually played in, which is all great, but he's really a 2-year starter on the right side. But I think with Fuaga, it's kind of the same situation that we were in with like Tristan Wirfs. Do you want to get the high upside left tackle guy versus the borderline elite right tackle? I don't think you could really miss with either one of those guys. But if I can't get Fashanu, I want to trade back, and then I'd be comfortable with Fuaga. My actual pick that I think realistically would be somewhere in like the mid to later portion of first round at wide receiver, I love Quez Watkins. That's the dude I'm rocking with right now. I think he would come in. He'd be a force almost immediately. Not quite like a Malik Neighbors, but we've seen him come in and decimate defenses right away. And he's really one of the only main targets pulling his weight on that offense. I think he's going to end up shooting up draft boards, but he's a very underrated pick for me right now.
You said Quez Watkins?
Yeah.
Doesn't he play for the Eagles?
No. Oh, my bad.
I was like, I'm looking this up, and he's on a team. He's like, wait a minute. He's on an NFL Eagles.
Hold on, let me find the name again. But I was pretty sure the last name was.
He's right here.
He's on the Eagles, right?
Yes.
You were talking about him earlier having to step up because of the AJ Brown injury. That's how I know he's on the team. I'm like, could have sworn I heard that name on the Eagles earlier.
Man, DK had a Geno moment. Right. Here we go.
Hey, we a little bit rusty, man.
It's cool.
That's what it was.
Okay. All right. Devontae Walker.
North Carolina Cat.
Okay.
That's funny. I was in the middle of saying it too, and I was
looking at you like,
I gotta commit right now.
I was like, wait a minute, is that? I was thinking, is he going to be a free agent? And then you said if we draft him, I'm like, draft? Wait a minute, man.
No. It's a draft. That's funny. Yeah, I had to commit. I was like, if I'm wrong, they'll bring it up.
Hey, sometimes you got to roll with it.
Yeah.
Hey, confidence is key when you're wrong or right.
I believe Ja was just like, maybe he's getting cut or maybe he's going to be a free agent.
Yeah, no. Quez Watkins can stay, but Devontae Walker, that's my guy. I think he definitely has number one potential, but sliding in as a number two with Garrett Wilson, I think he cleans up easy.
I haven't looked enough tape on him to give you an idea about him.
Yeah, dude, him and May were lighting it up together. I remember this dude. I remember this dude.
What, like, is he a big body guy, slot guy? What are you thinking?
So Devontae Walker, I forget his height ratio. I don't think it's crazy. He's like 6'6'1", I think. Let me double check.
I'm okay with that.
But I like his speed. That's one of the things I liked about him and May. How quick May threw to him and him doing all these dekes. But I like his personality a lot. I think he's got good. He's really good on the bench, pumping guys up. That's what we need right now.
Is he a first rounder? You think he's a first rounder? Projected to be?
Projected, yeah. He's like mid to late first round from what
I got you.
6'2", 200.
Oh, yeah, good size. Okay, that's a good size right there.
Yeah, so he's solid. I think he has the speed to blow the top off, which, I mean, realistically, I think that's really what we need. I think I heard somebody on X Factor breaking it down, and when I thought about it, I was like, it's true. We really only have guys that can attack consistently to shorten the intermediate fields. We don't have anybody that you consistently is like, damn, he's on the field. They're about to launch, a 50-yard bomb.
Yeah.
At least take the attempt. So, yeah, if we picked a Malik Neighbors, if we got a Tez Walker here, trying to think of some of the other deep threats outside of Harrison.
Like I said, I like that Washington guy. If we get him, we get him. We don't, we don't. But
yeah, Roland,
I really like him.
He's nice. He is
I
nice.
really do like him a lot, but I don't think we're going to get him. I just don't think
I think he's going top 5, bro.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be the second receiver taken off the board.
Right. Wait, okay.
I don't think.
You had you brought up the Harrison thing. I remember seeing an interesting scenario too, and I could see this actually playing out.
Are you talking about
trade up to 1 for the Bears. They pick Marvin Harrison. No. Sorry.
Wait,
Patriots traded up to take Caleb Williams.
Okay.
I forget who's at 2, but they take
awesome.
they take Drake May or something like that. The Bears would be 3rd. They would still get Marvin Harrison at that point. And then it goes.
New England's at 3rd, though. New England's at 3rd right now.
Yeah, he said if they traded up to number 1, they would go ahead and grab Caleb Williams.
Yeah, so Patriots will go to 1, Bears will go to 3. So you have 2 quarterbacks off the board, Marvin Harrison, and then it's something like another quarterback, Brock Bowers, Joe Alt, and like 2 other guys. I don't know, some kind of situation that actually had a pretty decent core group of guys for us to look at and want to pick up.
I think what's going to happen is when he does the combine, he's going to go ahead and blow the top off at the combine. And then, of course, you know what that means. People are going to love what they see. You're seeing a lot of these freaking teams with freaking 2 wide receivers dominate on offense, i.e. the freaking Eagles, the Dolphins. You get 2 number 1 wide receivers on your roster, man, and things can happen. Huawei, there's no way the Patriots don't go quarterback. Absolutely zero chance. Yeah. They don't go quarterback. No. Zero chance. And I do believe Caleb Williams.
I thought. Yeah. I seen something.
It's going to be Caleb. It's going to be May. It's going to be May or Williams.
And I hope it's Caleb Williams. God, I hope it's Caleb Williams.
He wants him to fail.
I don't know, but I don't believe the hype, though. I don't believe the hype.
I'm telling you.
I don't believe
Caleb Williams.
I don't believe it at all.
Going to bust.
He hates USC quarterbacks, yo.
I hate USC quarterbacks.
Not only that, you tie him to Riley, right? You tie him to Riley, and he's fooled us before. USC quarterbacks have fooled us. Riley has fooled us. It's the double whammy. Caleb Williams was nothing until he was obviously the starter, right? And then he went to USC with, right? I'm telling you guys. And then when you watch it in the big moments, he's like Tua. He doesn't show up. Any team that's ranked, he doesn't show up. He gets freaking owned. Damn near. And they are always the most talented team on the field. And he still doesn't show up. Caleb Williams, and then he's going to cry. And then he's going to cry about it. And his dad have to get for being bullied. So, and you're going to the Patriots, bro. Fan base that only knows success. Oh, dog. He's got 2 years to figure it out before they start eating him alive. And I don't think he's built for it.
And not only that, the only USC quarterback, in my personal opinion, like since I was a kid to now, that's been a success is Carson Palmer. To me,
Carson Palmer. That's putting it mildly.
That's bad.
That's putting it mildly, bro.
I don't track USC at all. Like most,
Mark
because we're on the East
Sanchez.
Coast, I generally don't
Okay,
even
but-
track West Coast schools.
Mark Sanchez did get us 6 playoff wins. By the way, the New York Jets have more playoff wins in this 21st century.
Sanchez was 4-2. No?
Playoff wins, right? We're talking playoffs.
Playoffs. Yeah, but we've got 6 playoff wins though this century. Since 2000. More than the Cowboys and more than significantly more than the Dolphins.
I can't even remember
that came out.
Outside of Sanchez, I can't even remember us being in the playoffs. So I thought Sanchez was 4-2.
Yeah, you're right. 4-2. Mark Sanchez was 4 wins in the playoffs. Yes.
Because we came in as wild cards both time, right? And then we got
Correct.
the 2 wins each, and then we lost in the championship. Yeah, okay.
Correct.
Hold on. I'll tell you right now what the 6 are.
That was great.
But yeah.
No. We've got 6 wins. We got a
4-2,
playoff win in. Well, I know that. I was saying that we have 6 playoff wins, and he says he can only think of 4 of them. So the Jets have 6 playoff wins. And 2001.
That's who was that? Pennington?
2001. I don't know who the quarterback was.
That's before him.
I'm thinking of. Oh, I'm not adding wild card in there. Okay, there we go.
Well, no, Sanchez didn't win 6 of them. I know we've got 2 wins with other. I'm trying to hold on here.
So
I'm
it's just
trying to remember
it's just
who the quarterbacks even would have been.
2001.
So it is 4-2 though. That's correct.
That's for
Sanchez.
Sanchez.
That's what I'm saying. Just Sanchez.
Yeah, Sanchez
Sanchez.
is 4-2.
Right,
but there's 2
yeah.
other wins since 2000 he's saying we had. And I
So 2001 Jets quarterback. So that was Vinny Testaverde. And then in 2002 we won again with Vinny and fucking Chad going back and forth.
Got you. Yeah, I didn't even remember them getting a win. I just remember the injuries.
2004 is when we got good old Mark Sanchez into the building. Or 2003, and then we won in 2004 with Mark Sanchez.
Facts.
I mean, listen, I love Mark Sanchez, but like, there's just times where he would frustrate me. There's a lot of times. I understand
That's
4
fair.
wins.
He was a decent dunker, and it just didn't work well. Like, especially with the pieces he had at the time. Like,
I mean,
he was a game manager.
Yeah, he had
He was a
everything.
game manager.
He had everything
though. He should have
everything.
been like an Alex. What was his name? Alex Smith at his best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Fitzpatrick even sometimes at his best.
Fitzpatrick used to always piss me off, even in the wins. It was just something about his playing style. I'm like, I kind of hate this dude.
I hated Fitzpatrick's playing style because it made me nervous every time. He was the gunslinger that really didn't have gunslinger arm. So he always thought he was a gunslinger, bro.
There's always at least like 3 to 5 potential picks on tape.
Every time. Every time.
I like Foles' trickery. Foles' trickery and leadership, the one that made me fall in love with him. You could rally around that guy any day of the week.
I hope they go QB because they have no talent on that offensive side. I mean,
who are you talking about?
I just saw Wild Wave's comment about QB. Listen, I'm going to say something that's controversial. I think the number 1 quarterback in this draft, the guy who's going to see the most success out of all the other individuals in this class,
oh my God,
is JJ McCarthy.
I knew you were going to say that.
I love the kid, man. I
that.
think JJ McCarthy has the size, speed, mindset, personality, arm talent. I think he's going to be the most successful quarterback in this group, and I'm seeing him being on the board like up in round 3. I'm like, what? If that happens and the Jets don't trade up to have him sit behind Aaron freaking Rodgers,
oh, I love McCarthy.
I might burn a jersey. I will hold a jersey hostage if the New York Jets have the opportunity to trade up and get JJ in like the second, and they don't.
I
jersey will burn.
McCarthy, and I haven't dived into a ton of the quarterbacks, but like the little bit I saw, and from what I know, his ceiling just doesn't seem that high. He doesn't seem to have any particularly elite traits, and from what I recall, he hasn't had any like elite games per se during college to say like, wow, he absolutely like ripped this by himself. So I get confused all the time about why people are so high on JJ, but
he's
really
gritty. You know, another quarterback that
He's
apparently
tough.
had no
He's
ceiling in
toughness.
college
Toughness.
and nobody knew anything about. His name is Tom freaking Brady. Yeah, it was that guy that nobody even had on the radar. Him, that dude. Now I'm not saying
Don't do this.
McCarthy's got Brady type of ceiling. I ain't saying that.
Gunny, you
I'm
good?
just saying.
Outside ice storm over
Pretty
there.
at
Outside
best.
ice storm over there.
Listen,
His draft value at best was like what, 5th round?
For Tom,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like a 5th or I think late 5th, early 6th,
something like that.
Yeah, it was like late 5th, early 6th. And
Yeah,
everybody got that wrong. Greatest quarterback of all time. He made Bill Belichick a Hall of Famer. So when your quarterback can make their coach and get so many coaches paid, make the head coach a Hall of Famer, make guys so much money because when they leave that team, they're nothing without Tom Brady being the guy. Like Tom Brady, man, was an enigma. I hate to have to admit it, man. I used to always say he was a systems quarterback, and when he left Tampa Bay or left the Patriots, I was like, he's going to go ahead and show us how much he really sucks. And what wound up happening was like he went to win another championship, and then the Patriots started sucking. I was like, well, damn. All this time, I thought he was a systems quarterback, that it was Bill Belichick and the Patriot way, but apparently Tom Brady was the Patriot way.
Does I think a lot of what people forget about Brady, though, is even with the low draft status and all that kind of stuff, the stories I heard in college mirrored a lot of what happened in the NFL. Like,
100%.
How he took care of his body.
Yep.
Like
100%.
Right.
I haven't heard the same thing with McCarthy, but again, I haven't dived into it. So if that's the case, I'm all for it, especially if we can scoop him up in the 2nd or 3rd. But yeah, he just
now for the record, my feeling about these quarterbacks and why I grade JJ the highest is because I look at all of the other ones in these wonderful positions and they've taken forever and a day to go ahead and get to where they're at, or Caleb Williams is overhyped, or like I look at those situations and I don't see a guy who's going to come into the league and really take charge like a JJ. I think the dude all around, people kind of gravitate to him. That to me holds value. I guess you can say freaking Sanders, Deion Sanders' son. I think he has some upside too, having been in the spotlight his entire life. But I'll be lying to you if I said I think he's going to handle losing well. And let's be honest, whatever team you go to, unless you're CJ Stroud, you're going to have to be able to handle losing well. So I have so many question marks about that. Bo Nix, he's like, how old is Bo Nix now? He's like 38 or something like that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and I look at all that in regards to it. This quarterback class, I don't think really is that strong. A lot of people love it and think it's elite. I'm like, really? All right. I don't think it's really that strong. I do like Jake May.
He's turning 24 next month.
That's like 38 in NFL quarterback.
Yeah, I think
years,
I've seen like a pictograph about that. Like most of the quarterbacks coming in this draft class are older than quarterbacks that came in last year.
It was like that Georgia quarterback. The one.
That dude,
he was
bro.
Old as hell, bro.
He was like 26 or something like that.
Yes, you are correct. He was 26 years old.
Drafted. Who was
Oh yeah, like 28-year-old.
29?
Oh my god, I remember that, bro. And he was a first rounder. They drafted him in the first round. I was like,
I can't remember his name.
What is that dude's name? I can see his face though, clear as day. I'm just having a hard time remembering his name.
Yeah,
but and then Penix, he's been hurt nonstop. This is year 5 or 6, and he finally hit. He finally figured it. I can't.
Penix
I don't understand.
Are you talking about Brandon Weeden?
Yes.
Brandon Weeden?
He was like 28 years old or something like that when he got drafted, bro. Yeah. They kept saying, well, at least we know maturity and leadership won't be an issue. He had none of it. He was getting bullied by a bunch of 21, 22-year-olds.
Look, it's never a good day. When you're a 5th-year senior, like any position, nobody says, well, damn, he had 2-3 redshirt years. He came out and killed it his last year. It doesn't matter because at this point, you physically tapped for the most part. And if you haven't literally taken the college league by storm, it doesn't matter.
You're a grown man playing with kids, and you're still just hanging in there with them. Get the hell out of here.
It's going to get worse, though. It's going to get worse now that NIL was in play.
Well, no, because the NIL only plays 4 years. You're actually
QBs. Now I'm saying anything than that.
No, even still, because
QBs.
they still only get 5 years of eligibility.
But
And
you're making like $5 million.
That's
Maybe
Yeah,
fine,
but that's
but
nothing compared
only
to
the
first
kids.
round status.
True,
If you
but that's
get
only
one
the
the
kids
first
that
2
matter,
rounds,
though.
NIL stuff doesn't matter. Like it
Actually,
I
first
need
3 for a quarterback.
There needs to be some critique in NIL
Harrison
for sure.
is the top NIL leader this year, and I think he's getting $4 million.
4.5 mil.
Yeah.
Bro. Like the money, it's cool money. It's cool money. And don't get twisted, I would love 4.5 million to play football in college.
Facts.
But you're talking about
right now.
You know what I'm saying? I still got some eligibility left.
My knees is cool. I can give you 2 years of soccer.
Everything's shot for me. I'll be your coach. That's it.
You're talking about 4.5 to 5 mil, and they still got to be playing, so they can't be redshirted. So they actually have to be on the active roster for them to get that money. And they only got 5 years of it. And if you're that good, you're thinking to yourself, okay, this has been great, but now that I got a taste for this 4.5 mil, I wonder what 15 mil tastes like. Because that's what's going to look like if you're a first rounder, right? Like
signing bonus alone is going to blow the NIL.
It's going to blow out of the water, yeah.
Let alone your guaranteed contract as a first rounder.
Only thing these guys know is more money, bro. Like 4.5 mil sounds great, but the moment they know, like, man, if I can get this here, I'm capable of getting 10 or 15 or 20. You know what I'm saying? It's a wrap.
That's what Bauer said. I'm kidding.
Yeah, Bowers he's what, 23? He's young too, I think. He's not that. He's 23, 24.
I'll give it,
no.
Like
22. 22. Because he's been the top tight end in football the last 2 years. And he had a red shirt year or something like that. So this should be his junior year.
He's 21, bro.
21, see? Even younger.
Man, he just turned 21.
He's Brock Bowers is the one that what do you have? Like 2 major leg injuries or something back-to-back years? Shoulder, something like that?
Oh, no. Brock Bowers has been pretty healthy the last 2 years.
No. 2 years,
ankle. He had an ankle injury last year. And he tweaked that ankle again mid-year this year, but it didn't hurt him. He still got back out there and did his thing.
All right, we're coming up on time. Final thoughts for everybody? Oh, DK's gone.
I think ultimately, man, like this season, I think as Jets fans taught us a lot. A lot of it was frustrating. A lot of it was painful. A lot of it was us becoming real with ourselves, man. I think the AFC East with the Miami Dolphins and the Bills are legit. I think the Dolphins may have taken, like, I legitimately believe, and this sounds ridiculous, I think the Dolphins are a quarterback away. I think I've heard conversations about bringing in bringing in freaking Justin Fields or something like that. And I'm not gonna lie to you, if that was to ever happen, that would be terrifying to have Justin Fields with the Dolphins with that much talent on offense. So I don't want that to be the case. I hope they do give Tua a long-term contract. But the Dolphins are going to be here next year with that high-powered offense, and the Bills are the Bills. Let's be honest. They're going to be here as long as Josh Allen is playing. Those guys are going to be something we got to worry about. Mayo being the coach of the Patriots, I feel better that it's another guy from the Belichick coaching tree. We've seen how those guys have panned out, but you never know until you know. So I'm kind of worried about that. All I know is Aaron Rodgers is not 25. He's not 35 even, right? The guy's 40. We only have 2 more years to go ahead and kind of figure this thing out. And then we'll be right back in the window of looking for a quarterback, man, because I don't know. I think what sucks is, man, like, you look at the talent of a Garrett Wilson, a Breece Hall, a Sauce Gardner, all these guys we got on rookie deals. This is the perfect time to take advantage of such elite talent at those positions. And if we don't next year, I'm going to say it now, dog. I have a mandate for this team. And it's a playoff win or everyone's done. I don't care from Joe Douglas down to everybody. Done. Everybody in the coaching tree. It's a playoff win. A playoff win or we got to start all over again. And that's just how I feel about it.
Hey, I'm with you. Like this year, what 2023 for the Jets has taught me is you didn't do the things that you should have done when players go down, like Rodgers. You didn't get backup plans. You spent all on one thing. You put all your eggs in one basket in certain areas, and you got burned. You should have known that the offensive line has been injured for a long time. We're the worst with injuries with the offensive line for a long time. And there was no backup plan. There was no backup plan for the wide receiver position, no backup plan for the QB. What this year has been the most depressed and checked out I have since I was 9 years old, and I'm 31, turned 32. That's a lot for me because I'm a huge sports guy. I know everyone has been doing this longer. I know the ages are up and down with everyone, but for me, 31 years old, going into 2024, this has been the most for me. This year, if we don't get our shit together this year, we're going to have 7 to 9 wins. 7 to 9 wins. I'm predicting that. 7 to 9 wins right now, because if we don't get what we need on offense, because I'm not even worried about the defense. I'm not worried about special teams. You got to score touchdowns to win football games. And if we don't get our crap together this year, everyone's being fired in 2025. We're going to start over, new QB, start over everything. That's how I feel. This team is ass right now, and we need to get out of the ass. That's just me. Go on, DK.
Yeah, that's wild. The ass is usually where you want to be at. It's tough, and this is part of some of my statements about clearing the coaching staff. Life with Rodgers and even life without. Like if things don't break right, and I don't want to say everything has to be absolutely perfect, but I think 100% we need to secure the offensive line, and you may be able to weather the weapons issue. But I have this sneaky suspicion that if Aaron Rodgers can't find a way to help self-correct the coaching staff, we may end up being that new version of like the Falcons. We're consistently like a 8-9 win team, maybe just missing out on the playoffs, never doing worse enough to really get a difference maker in the draft per se, but never doing well enough to make it worth exiting the playoffs early. I think most of us would say, a lot of my questions are really just going to be on the offensive side of the ball. I have zero concerns about the special teams, unless we can't re-sign these guys. Like if we start fucking around and doing dumb shit, like I'm going to start getting pissed. Because I think we had Morstead and
Zerline on 1-year deals. Yeah.
1-year deals. Okay. So yeah. If we start dicking around and trying to get too cute out here in free agency, like I'm going to have some problems, but I don't know. I got to keep the half glass full because I'm so concerned about how this offseason may go. Like, imagine we get to the draft. Imagine we get to the draft and we're picking at number 10 and you hear them say, with the 10th pick in the 2024 NFL draft, the New York Jets selected Dallas Turner. Like, I'm gonna lose my shit.
I'm gonna lose my shit, bro.
I'm gonna lose my shit.
If a defensive player's name is called, I'm burning a jersey. You hear me, New York Jets? I will burn a jersey. I'm holding jerseys hostage now. That's what I'm going to start doing. I will burn one.
That might be the move.
I'm gonna ruin another TV.
That life. Fuck up the turf. Force
TV.
That.
Right. Let's go find some turf. Let's stop on it and throw it away. Find some grass. Do it again.
I can't believe we had the same season again, guys.
I can believe it.
Season. You know what makes it worse? When you look at freaking Coach Campbell, right? In comparison to Coach Sala.
Yeah.
Campbell, every time, bro, it's him telling everybody, like, yeah, we sucked. We got our ass kicked. We got our teeth kicked in. We got to do better. Like, you've always seen this man just hold himself and the team accountable. Never sugarcoated it. Hey, so-and-so's got to be better. Always holding the line. And then we got Sala. Man, we practiced so good this week. If y'all just seen it, the practice was great, right? And we're this close to getting it all together. Man, we've been hearing the same thing for 2 years. And again, I'm starting to really dislike our coach. And I used to be such a huge fan of this dude, man. I'm sick and tired of the excuses, bro.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. He's a family man of like 32 million kids. He needs to learn peaceful resolution and mediation.
Well, then he's not built for NFL football then.
No.
He's not built for NFL football. This is a war. It's a gladiator sport. If he don't got a gladiator mentality, he needs to get the hell out of here.
Hey, to be fair, we would have went in on Dan Campbell if he came in with that whole I'm biting kneecaps off shit. Like,
100%. But then he would have shown us these results, and we would have been like, hey, I'm biting them too. I'm biting them too.
It shouldn't take this hard. It shouldn't take this long to do a rebuild. The Lions have proven that. The Texans have proven that. The Dolphins have turned it around, but they're quarterback away now. The Bills, what they have done. It shouldn't take this damn long.
Hey, that reminds me. Like, final question to wrap up the show. I have to go back and check, but I remember Saleh mentioning when he was building this new offensive coaching staff that he was going to seriously consider like a I forgot the BS title, right? But basically like a senior consultant person that was going to oversee the offense as a whole, kind of like we have with Greg Knapp. Do you guys like the idea of trying to add something like that in again this year, or?
What do you mean exactly?
So I guess, you know, in spirit and name, Nathaniel would still end up being offensive coordinator. Like everybody that's in their positions is still the same, but and I don't really. It's weird because I'm not even fully sure kind of what Greg Knapp really oversaw when we had Mike LaFleur. But like basically, the offense is operating the way Nathaniel Hackett intends, but probably some of the more minute details or something like that are ran through a Greg Knapp like person to make sure that we're actually looking like an NFL offense and not a high school football team.
I think they should do that. I mean, bring a legitimate offensive mind into the building to help out the so-called offensive coordinator and Hackett. At this point, even Rodgers has to. We've all watched Rodgers on the sideline shaking his head when calls were coming through the headset. Like, what the? You can tell he's questioning the decisions Hackett is doing. So why not bring in somebody who's legitimately understands what an NFL offense should look like to be an advisor of sorts? I
have a name for y'all. Hear me out.
Hit it. Here we go.
Mike McCarthy.
Doesn't Aaron Rodgers hate Mike McCarthy?
Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't think they have a good relationship.
Look, I don't give a shit what the relationship, love or hate is. I care about the results.
I don't know, man. I don't know. He's been around kids too much today. It's okay. We got you, bro. We got you. I mean, no, I can't. I'm sorry.
I can't. Nah, not
I'm
Mike,
sorry,
bro.
bro.
I can't do it.
Especially now that he was a Cowboy, I can't do that. For me,
I don't know if he's talented enough to be worth the headache of Aaron Rodgers being upset with and then of course going against or being, you know what I'm saying, a voice against what Mike McCarthy, but he did win a Super Bowl with the guy, so let's be honest, like it's not like, damn it, man, I don't know that. See, now my personal bias is getting in front of it, vice the logic that might not be a bad idea. He's got head coaching experience. He's already been in the Super Bowl. He's already seen Aaron Rodgers operate at his best and won a Super Bowl with Rodgers, multiple playoff appearances with Rodgers.
God, I hate when y'all do this to me.
Damn, man. Like I
hate when you do this to me.
Logically speaking, that makes a lot of sense. Like it does, logically speaking, make a lot of sense.
Then we really are the Green Bay Jets. Honestly,
I don't care. If it gets a Super Bowl, I don't give a shit what they
call me. I don't give a fuck. You can call me the Green Bay. If we get a Super Bowl, bro,
you can call 49ers East for a while there. Like I don't care.
Yeah. Anyways,
there's not, Tigo, because Hackett is not a cook. What do you mean too many cooks in the Hackett is not a cook, bro. He's on the line right now serving slop. He's not a freaking cook. So really right now, the only cook in the kitchen is Rodgers. So to have somebody come in that can legitimately pretty much bounce some kind of logical back and forth with him, that knows him as well too. Like again, it's hard to argue that too many cooks in the kitchen. There's no cooks in that offensive kitchen. Zero.
Keith Carter. No, I'm just kidding.
I love
Carter's cooking something. All right, boys.
We appreciate y'all. Oh, I don't know if we mentioned it here. We'll be on a small hiatus. We're going to come back around mid to late March. Drop off a ton of fresh content. And, by that point, we're going to be deep in the drafts. Mock drafts are going to be right around the corner, free agency news, all that good stuff. So individually, we'll all have our stuff going on. But Just Flight Squad podcast will be on break. We'll come back better, ready for all the excitement as normal. So we appreciate you guys sticking around. But we'll catch you guys again. Peace.
Go Jets? ? It's
the offseason.